What's up guys, I'm Jules, and today we are improving our habit consistency and not falling off the wagon. I've always found that term kind of ironic because you don't really fall off a wagon. If you stop doing a habit, you're kind of stepping off. You're pretty much deciding to, unless something pretty much out of your control happens, which, let's be honest, whenever we decide to stop doing a habit or miss a day, we almost always tell ourselves that it wasn't in our control, even if it kind of was. Although I should talk because I haven't posted a YouTube video in like 3 weeks because I was sick for a few weeks with COVID, but I'm doing better now. And so I will be back to posting Tuesdays and Thursdays. Sorry, this video is so shaky. I also don't have my tripod with me today. Okay, with habits, you fall off the wagon and you stop doing it frequently enough to where it eventually becomes none at all. So the strategy I want to share with you today is to treat habits like a highway, and quitting a habit is an off-ramp. So I actually got this idea from my favorite sitcom. Give me a like if you figure out which one I'm talking about. Or if you don't, because I like likes either way. In the sitcom, they're joking about how relationships are like this. It's like a highway and there's different off-ramps. And I think one of the characters bets another one that somebody's gonna take a certain off-ramp, whether it's a week into the relationship or 3 months or whatever. Habits are the same way. I don't know if there's specific intervals that are the most common. I'm sure there are. But the strategy I want to share with you is that you can decide when your off-ramps are. And then you can stop doing a habit, but intentionally, which is so much better than stopping unintentionally. If you decide on predetermined off-ramps, then you can still make an informed decision on if that habit isn't serving you anymore. Because you can only have so many habits in your life. You only have so many hours in the day and days in the year. And so if you decide that a habit is no longer valuable to you, it's a very good thing to stop it. But the bummer thing is we usually kind of stop it half-heartedly and slowly, where it's much better to make a very firm decision about when you're going to stop it. And the big risk there is deciding right before the habit. So don't decide at 11 p.m. that you're going to stop your early morning gym habit the night before. Have a designated time. Maybe it's once a week, maybe it's every 3 weeks, maybe it's once after the first week of a habit, and then again after the first month, and then again every other month after that. Something like that. You have these predetermined times where you've agreed that you are going to evaluate the habit at that time and decide if it's still serving you. And if it's not, you can stop the habit guilt-free and begin something else that is more valuable to you. And if you decide that it is still helpful, then you can keep going. And then when the temptation to quit a habit, like the night before going to the gym, hits really hard and you start trying to talk yourself out of it, you're like, well, I don't know if I really want to continue this habit anyways. It's okay. You are going to have a meeting with yourself in the future. You've already scheduled it where you can determine if it is serving you. And if it is, then continue. If it isn't, by all means, stop doing it. Okay, now one more scenario where this strategy works super well to be intentional with when you stop a habit, which is also to be intentional with when you take a break. So this might be relevant to a lot of people this week with Thanksgiving. You have certain habits and maybe you sort of decide that you're going to stop doing the habits during Thanksgiving week, but you decide right before you do the habit when your motivation is the least and you're kind of wanting to talk yourself out of it anyways. Well, that can hurt your confidence and it can also make it a lot harder for you to jump back in after the break because you already kind of talked yourself into all these reasons why you don't want to do the habit. So another strategy is to be really specific ahead of time, whether it's a week ahead of time or a month ahead of time, on what your vacation strategy is for a habit. And if you're taking time off for the vacation, or if you're taking time off from half of your habits and not the other half, and exactly when you're going to start the habits again after the vacation. Maybe it's not the very next day. Maybe you need a couple days to recover and get back to everyday life. That's fine, but just be really specific about it so that you're not letting yourself down, because the more we let ourselves down with habits, the harder they are to stick to. And it's because it hurts your confidence, not just because by definition, if you're letting yourself down, you're not doing the habit, right? Like it actually makes it harder to do new habits in the future. Okay, I am back to doing 2 videos a week. So I will see you again on Thursday and then again next week. Thanks for being patient with me while I recover from being sick. I'm gonna try to get more videos backed up so that I can still publish when I am out of the game. Bye.